G'day there. My name is Fogwell for EDC 1200 Education and Society. My focus today will be to look at how Australians view difference and dominance within our country. Seeing that today is our nation's day of celebration, I thought I'd dig a little deeper like our diggers did and take a closer look into our nation's history and heritage. This presentation will explore and highlight what we believe it is to be Australian and what it is believed our country represents. The tradition of having Australia Day as a national holiday on the 26th of January is a recent one. It wasn't until 1935 did all Australian states and territories use that name to mark this date, and it wasn't until 1994 did they begin to celebrate Australia Day constantly as a public holiday. So what drew Australians together in this way? Did Australia Day become a day for all Australians to enjoy? This brings a question on education and how it might mediate difference and dominance within our nation. The tradition of noticing 26th of January began early in the 19th century, with Sydney referring it to the First Landing Day or Foundation Day. That was the day in 1788 Captain Arthur Phillip, the commander of the First Fleet of 11 convict ships from Great Britain and the first Governor of New South Wales, arrived at Sydney Cove. The raising of the Union Jack there symbolised British occupation of the eastern half of the continent claimed by Captain James Cook on the 22nd of August 1770. So to our flag. The flag that I stand in remembrance of and celebrate today, the Australian national flag, is Australia's foremost national symbol. It was first flown in 1901 and it became an expression of Australian identity and pride. The Australian national flag flies over federal and state parliaments. The flag is paraded by our defence forces and displayed around the country at sporting events, service organisations, schools, community groups and private citizens. The Australian national flag has three elements: the Union Jack, the Commonwealth Star and the Southern Cross. The Union Jack in the upper left corner acknowledges the history of British settlement. Below the Union Jack is a white Commonwealth or Federation Star. It has 7 points representing the unity of the 6 states and territories of the Commonwealth of Australia. The star is also featured on the Commonwealth coat of arms. The Southern Cross is shown on the fly of the flag. This constellation of 5 stars can be seen only from the Southern Hemisphere and is a reminder of Australia's geography. Instead of taking a deeper understanding of our flag, it is raised that we should in fact look at alternative designs. The current flag design for some begs the question, that is, as we are now our own colony, should we still respect the Union Jack or indeed Great Britain? This is a question for the individual, and in research I have found some positive and negative responses. There are some very strong points for both parties concerning the argument of whether the flag should be changed or remain the same for our national identity. In raising this research, I have found some interesting responses from family and friends. Here are some of the things they shared on the topic. Paul, the school teacher, writes, "Get rid of the Union Jack and change the flag. We are their colony no more. I realise many lost their life fighting under it, but they fought so we can be free to be Australian. I think there is something strange about having another country's flag as part of ours, when they no longer contribute to our economy, trade, education, culture, etc. etc. A friend Leah writes, "Change the Australian flag? I don't think so. Wake up Australia. We hardly own any of our Aussie icons anymore. We're not bloody changing the flag. The only icon we can save is our flag, and I'll fight to keep it. Majority of us have English heritage, so why did we change it? If it wasn't for the diggers that fought for our country, we sure as heck wouldn't be where we are today." Paul adds to the argument, "I had 28 young Australians in my class last year, whose heritage came from all of the continents. And from 30 plus countries, it was a great experience. That is a perfect snapshot of a great country in which we live, being diverse and vibrant. I just can't see the point of having one country's flag on ours and not another. Looking beyond our flag as an artefact, we should turn our attention on how we see ourselves as a nation. Now more than ever, the typical Australian is being placed in a class of being racist, ignorant and disrespectful to culture. In recent times, the Australian community has been allegedly involved in racist attacks against Indian and other cultural groups. The question I raise is set clear: can we blame a typical Aussie Joe for these allegations? Or is it in fact foreign culture against culture? The article I'm about to share highlights some important detail to the public. This article was taken from the Sydney Morning Herald. 2 Indian students were punched, pushed to the ground and kicked by a mob here on Monday. In the 8th such incident in Australia in a fortnight, 9 persons were arrested and 5 of them booked for assault. The 2 victims, aged 20 and 22, told the police they were attacked by members of a large group on Swanston Street in Melbourne on Monday night. The attack is described as being from an Asian appearance, allegedly made some comments about the victims. There are some idiots out there who perpetrate terrible attacks on some Indian students, Immigration Minister Chris Evans said. The 20-year-old Indians suffered a wound on the left ear from what appeared to be caused from a sharp weapon, the police said. The other student suffered minor abrasions on the forearms. While with one of the injuries on the ear was taken to St Vincent's Hospital, the other did not require hospital treatment. 8 people were arrested this morning, with another man picked up later in the day of the 9 arrested. 5 youths being charged with fray, intentionally causing injury, and a summary of assault offences. The Victorian Police said the 4 others have been released pending further police investigation. Mr Evans said the Indians were respected for their contributions in Australia and the government was doing all it could to stop the violence. Internal Affairs Minister S.M. Krishna is expected to take up the assaults with their Australian counterpart Stephen Smith when the two meet later in London this week. Informed sources said the meeting was sought by Mr Smith to inform Mr Krishna of the steps taken by the Australian government to ensure Indian safety and security. There are 2 parametric tests to ascertain the real level of racism in the country, namely the level of ethnic motivated crime and the amount of intermarriage between ethnic groups. Australia has a low ethnic crime and a high level of intermarriages between all races, including Indigenous people. There is racism in every country, but Australia is not a racist nation. I think education must play a huge part in informing our young people about all these factors, as they are concerning. Students educated within our school and community must learn together to show understanding of both national and worldwide culture. Some ideas I would use in impacting learning on Australia Day is to use fun, hands-on engagement. Introducing a group presentation on Australia theme would gain confidence and freedom to explore at their will. This would be a great lead-up assignment for students a few weeks out from Australia Day. Activities linked with the assessment piece closer to the event would include Art of Australia, creation of flags, hats, banners, animals and drawings. By decorating our classroom with Australian culture, I would hope to achieve a deeper understanding from students on Australian artefacts and create their own opinions on Australian traditions. I believe all culture from any different background could have fun doing these activities, and I don't believe there would be too many implications for identity factors or senses of self issues. However, myself as an educator, I would have to be open to various student beliefs and be open to overcome disadvantaged or marginalised groups if need be the case. Overall, this event would allow me to demonstrate, as an educator, that Australia Day is about being free, and we should all celebrate by enjoying our family and friends. It would also allow me to describe firsthand that we live in the best country in the world. Class and race aside, this is a day of coming together and celebrate, whether white, black or blue, that we are people living in and enjoying the great South Land. I question, what is it really to look Australian? Is there such a thing? It comes down to our heritage and culture from our families. I'd like to thank you for listening today. Let's remain to keep Australia open and free to difference and dominance. Thank you.